Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're building the ultimate proactive watchdog for your AI systems using the ISO/IEC 42001-2023 standard. Look, if you're managing AI right now, you already know that just setting it up, that's only half the battle. The real work is making absolutely sure it stays secure, transparent, and completely compliant long after you flip the switch.
So here's the core issue, right? Unlike traditional static software, artificial intelligence actually learns, it adapts, it changes based on new data. Because of that, relying purely on historical, reactive monitoring just isn't going to cut it anymore if you want to guarantee trust. We literally can't afford to just look in the rearview mirror. We need a system that's actively looking ahead. Here's our blueprint for today. We are going to cover proactive monitoring, real-time detection tools, life cycle evaluation, and finally documenting those processes for compliance. Let's jump right in.
Starting off with Section 1, Proactive AI System Monitoring, shifting from reactive to anticipatory.
This quote straight from the ISO standard perfectly captures the massive mindset shift we need here. High-risk sectors, we're talking finance, healthcare, critical infrastructure, they simply cannot wait for a data breach or some weird performance drift to happen before they act. They have to stay one step ahead of the AI, predicting those vulnerabilities before anyone can exploit them.
To actually pull this off, your monitoring setup has got to hit all 6 of these core principles to align with the framework. You need proactive monitoring that gives you comprehensive coverage across everything. It's got to integrate seamlessly with your existing security tools, pull data in real time, focus heavily on your biggest risks, and this is a big one for compliance, it must be auditable and transparent. Missing even one of these, you're leaving your watchdog with a dangerous blind spot.
Moving right along to Section 2, Real-Time Detection Tools. Let's look at how we actually equip this watchdog on the ground.
Now, check out the crucial difference between these two tools. An IDS, or Intrusion Detection System, is basically a highly sensitive alarm. It watches the traffic and yells if something looks sketchy. But an IPS, an Intrusion Prevention System, is more like an automated bouncer. It doesn't just ring the alarm, it actively steps in, blocks the traffic, and neutralizes the threat on the spot.
And tying the whole shebang together is the SIEM, Security Information and Event Management. Think of this as the central brain of your operation. It is constantly pulling in data from every single corner of your network. Firewalls, servers, apps, you name it. It's looking for those complex, coordinated threats or compliance hiccups that isolated tools would just completely miss.
So what happens when those real-time tools actually spot a threat? Well, they trigger this specific 4-step incident response flow. First up, containment, stop the bleeding. Then, eradication, to completely remove the threat. Third is recovery, getting the AI and data back to a secure state. And finally, lessons learned. You do a post-incident review to make sure your defenses are even stronger next time. The ISO standard demands this exact structured approach.
All right, Section 3, Lifecycle Evaluation of AI, or, as I like to call it, walking the beat. Let's see how we evaluate this system from its birth to its retirement. If you look at the entire chronological lifespan of an AI system, you'll see the standard requires strict evaluation at every single milestone here. The risks your AI faces on day 0 are totally different from the risks at year 5. That means your evaluation methods have to evolve right alongside the tech.
It all kicks off at day 0, the design phase. Before this AI is ever released into the wild, you've got to set your KPIs and do some serious risk assessments. This is where you draw the line in the sand for things like accuracy, transparency, and fairness. You have to make sure the foundation is rock solid right out of the gate. Then we hit day 1, deployment. This is where theory meets reality. You have to continuously monitor performance because things get messy in the real world. For example, an autonomous vehicle's AI, you can't just test it in a lab. It has to be evaluated on how it handles a sudden blizzard or an unexpected road closure out on the actual streets.
After that, we're into the post-deployment phase, which covers the entire operational life of the AI. Here, you're doing regular audits and using continuous feedback loops. Say you have a healthcare AI analyzing medical images. You've got to audit that routinely, long after launch, to make sure it stays accurate and doesn't pick up any weird biases as new patient data rolls in over time. And eventually, we reach decommissioning. This is a huge point in the ISO standard. Monitoring does not stop just because you pulled the plug. You absolutely must audit any residual data, make sure it's securely destroyed or anonymized, and take a hard look at the long-term impact that system had while it was running. Which brings us to our final section, number 4, documenting processes for compliance. Basically, writing the report.
Because let's face it, in the world of ISO standards, if you aren't documenting all this amazing monitoring, you simply can't prove your compliance to a lead auditor. Every single objective you set has to go through this classic SMART framework: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Doing this removes all the guesswork and makes everything totally auditable.
Look at how these KPIs bridge the gap between raw metrics and actual business outcomes. You aren't just tracking incident response time for the fun of it. You track it because it limits attack impact. Tracking your compliance rate directly maintains your legal standing. This level of connect-the-dots documentation is exactly what proves your AI management system actually works.
Now, when you inevitably hit a non-conformity, because let's be real, complex AI systems are gonna have hiccups, your documentation has to follow these 4 kappa steps. You document the root cause, the corrective action to fix the immediate bug, the preventative action to make sure it never happens again, and finally an effectiveness check to prove your fix actually stuck.
And this quote right here beautifully sums up the whole point of ISO/ISO 42001-2023. It's not just about checking boxes for an auditor. It's about building a secure, transparent technological framework we can actually rely on. When we prove our AI is heavily monitored and safe, we build real societal trust in these incredibly powerful tools. So I'll leave you with this provocative question. Look closely at your own organization. Is your AI management system truly a proactive watchdog, or is it just sitting there as a reactive observer? Are you anticipating the risks, or are you just waiting around for the alarms to go off? I really hope this explainer inspired you to step up your AI governance and embrace that continuous evaluation. Thanks so much for exploring this with me.